Hello everyone, Mohr here, and welcome to a new movie review. Well, even after reviewing The Half-Blood Prince, I figured that I might as well finish out these movies, so I can get to reviewing Fantastic Beasts in time for the sequel. And that's what I'll be doing. So, without further ado, let's get on to reviewing the first part of the last story. Which, again, is fine. But slightly boring. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Part 1. Now, during the review, I do have to mention the ending from the last film, as it ties into this one, so hopefully there's nothing wrong with it. With Snape having to kill Dumbledore when Malfoy doesn't, Voldemort and the Death Eaters take over Hogwarts, as he demands his followers to find Harry Potter alive, so he can kill him. But after the Dursleys left their house leaving Harry alone, he gets picked up by his friends and former professors, who use Polyjuice Potion to disguise some of them as Harry to get past the Death Eaters into the burrow. Despite a few troubling news once they arrive, they all gather together to celebrate the wedding of Bill Weasley and Fleur Delacour, while the Minister of Magic, Rufus Scrivener, gives Harry, Ron, and Hermione gifts from Dumbledore. But during the wedding, news of the Death Eaters taking over the Ministry of Magic spread, and while the wedding's under attack, Hermione teleports herself, Ron, and Harry to London, where they try to run and hide from the Death Eaters following them, while also finding the remaining Horcruxes and how to destroy them. All while Voldemort is finding a better wand to kill Harry with. Now, when I say that this movie is slightly boring, I'm mostly talking about the middle portion, which isn't too bad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, it's mainly because there's so much going on, even for a first part to a final story, and it's mostly of just following Ron, Harry, and Hermione, which I don't mind because they're good characters. But it would also feel slow, there's not much action going on, and its humor is a little less. There are some fine scenes like Harry and Hermione dancing, the three of them using Dumbledore's gifts as answers, and the Horcrux showing Ron visions of spiders and Harry and Hermione kissing. But they do seem rare in a section of the film that's mostly heavy. But everything else, including the first and last half, are pretty much alright. Much like with the middle portion of the film, there are plenty of new things happening, and it didn't need to follow a structure of having to go to the same place every time. For the most part, that is. There's not only a wedding, but there's also getting a locket that's a Horcrux when the one Harry and Dumbledore find is a fake, using Polyjuice Potion again to enter the Ministry to retrieve the locket. The humor and action are nicely done, and there's lots of returning characters from the previous movies. There's even a pretty good animation sequence when Hermione tells the tale of the three brothers, explaining the Deathly Hallows and the symbols Xenophilius has. Of course, one or two of the objects used to make the Deathly Hallows are quite obvious to make out, but this is only part 1, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. As for the new cast of characters, they all do pretty well. Bill Nighy plays Minister Rufus Scrimgeour. David Rowell plays Alpheus Dodge. Andy Linden plays Mundungus Fletcher. Domhnall Gleeson plays Bill Weasley. Ryzen Fence plays Xenophilius Lovegood. Matlock Gibbs plays Aunt Merle. Hazel Douglas plays Pafilda Bagshot. Guy Henry plays Pious Thickness. And Warwick Davis plays Griphook. As a whole, this movie is again fine, though it's slightly boring. The characters are still good, the story is alright, and the effects are good. As a first part to the final story from director David Yates, most of the film is focused on Harry, Ron, and Hermione hiding, escaping, and fighting Horcruxes, which isn't too bad. But at times it could be a bit boring from how much is going in the same direction, with little humor, not much action, and being a bit slow. Yet there's plenty of other stuff happening that's new and not really being in the same place every time, even if they do appear in the beginning and ending. But for going a completely different direction from the previous films, it did quite fine. And with there being one more film in this series, I feel like the whole franchise is going rather well, despite a few problems along the way. So today, this movie will get a rating of 3 stars. So thank you for joining me. Like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Facebook or Twitter, support me on Patreon, and tune in next time for a new video.